up, everyone? It's here. It's here. It's us. We're here. Episode 87 of Wingin' It. We survive. The Eagles just improved to 2-1. We're going to get into it. I don't think anybody knows how to feel about this team at this point in time. But before we dive in, as usual, everyone, please give us a follow anywhere you can. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're on Apple, obviously Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. Please just give us a follow, leave us some comments. The more that you guys can do for us, I can't say that we're going to return any favors, but it would just mean a lot. So if you love us, just try to help us out a little bit. I'm joined, as always, by Alex. We do not have Ali with us again. We are in Ali withdrawal, but we are joined by another returning customer, one of our favorite guests we've had on the show, the man, the myth, 23 Drees, back in the house.
What's up, man? I love being in this house. I'll come back anytime you ask me.
It's so good to have you back, man. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what kind of drink concoctions you've been stirring up, what kind of Eagles trips you have planned for this year. We're going to get into all of it. But before we touch on some of that fun stuff, I do have a football question for both of you. Have either one of you done any survivor pools this year? Because I don't think it is physically possible for anybody to still have a survivor pool that is still alive. The list of upsets from this past week are beyond comprehension. I don't know what the NFL is. I know it's only week 3. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But all I know is that every year from now on, the first couple weeks of the season, I'm just going to bet every single underdog because this past weekend was absurd. So any survivor pools, boys?
This is actually my first time not doing a survivor pool, and the team I would have picked I would have lost week 1 because I was going to pick the Bengals over Patriots, and I would have lost that.
The 0-3 Bengals. I would have picked them this week to beat Washington. I couldn't believe that. And a quick note on that game: first game in since the 1940s that didn't have a single punt or a single turnover. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's also pretty insane that was it Jaden Daniels threw for 91% of his passes, setting an all-time NFL rookie on the debut game. Right behind Gardner Minshew, and there was somebody else. Was it like Josh Allen? There was another name. I don't know if you all saw that infographic. But that was stellar. I'm a little bit worried for the Commanders in our division now.
They're definitely a team to fear, but also, can you look past the Giants right now? Who expected them to go into Cleveland, a good defense, and Daniel Jones looks good? Yeah. I don't even know. Garrett's tuned in.
I'll still never believe in Daniel Jones. There's nothing that's going to persuade me to be like, oh man, we got something to fear.
So, Alex, I hear you have no voice. Is that were you screaming at Coach Sirianni this past weekend? Did you just blow a cork?
Yeah. So we're definitely going to get into 2 up, 2 down and talk a little bit about some of the coaching decisions by our beloved head coach. But I think that my voice was lost. One, because fall is in the air, and I think just the weather is getting to me a little bit, but also how many times I started screaming chalk duck after the Reed Blankenship interception to seal up the W in New Orleans. Running around the house, my son has no idea what he is in for, but just a way to wrap up probably one of the most ugliest games that I've ever seen in Philadelphia Eagles history.
Drees, what did you do for the game? Kind of tell me about your feelings throughout. Was there ever a point in the game that you felt any sort of confidence in the Eagles pulling it off? I was working the entire time. I work in customer service for a sports book, which is not fun on Sundays, I'll tell you that much. But it's even less fun when you turn to the TV every couple of seconds and the Eagles had the ball and then the Saints had the ball exactly where the Eagles just had it. I'm trying to make sense of what's going on. So, yeah, what did you do for the game, man?
For the game, I watched it at the house. And then you saw about coming down to the last minute. Well, I was confident throughout the whole game until the Saints scored. Once the Saints scored, I was like, it's over. We got the ball back with 2 minutes left. And then it was 3rd and 16. After Jalen got sacked, I definitely said it was over. I was like, oh, man, it's over. But, Dallas got to caught that long touchdown pass, took it all the way down. Then all my thoughts changed. I was like, we got this. It got this.
It's serious. It's exactly what needed to happen after the way that they lost the previous week. It was like complete redemption. And if we could have came out of either Atlanta or New Orleans winning one of the two of those games, which is what we did. I still not quite sure how it happened. I don't know where the defense was on that long Dallas Goedert play. I have no idea. So the fact that we came out of there with the W, especially in New Orleans, a place where we historically have a lot of trouble, whatever. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. Like I actually want to like give a lot of props to the defense. We'll get into that, but yeah, I'm still just blown away by what happened on Sunday.
Yeah. So 2-3, I want to talk a little bit about, your influencer life. What's changed since the last time you've been on the podcast about a year ago? Man, I've been seeing an uptick in followers. I heard you got some product that's now in stores. Give us the whole lowdown. How have you been, man? What's life been like for the last year from an influencing perspective?
I mean, life changed a lot, honestly. It's been like brand deals after brand deals, invitations to after invitations. I feel like everything leads to the next thing. I always want to plant good seeds. So whatever anything I do, I'm gonna put my all into it and make sure I'm putting out a good product. And then it always leads to something different. Kind of like start out around the Super Bowl time. I went down to the Super Bowl with Charles Woodson's team. He has a bourbon. So I went out there planning on to do one event. I planned on doing one event, and I did it with Charles Woodson. It was like that Thursday right after the what is it called, like the NFL awards. They give out the awards, the ESPYS or something like that.
Yeah.
They do something. One of those award shows they do, and after that I did a show like a tasting, a giveaway with Charles Woodson. Then at the day after that I got a call to do the this NFL tasting with all the top chefs in America. It costs the ticket to get in. It costs $1,500 because everything goes to charity, and you just got the best top chefs in there just handing out like their best product, and everyone get in there and taste it. They got charity, right? So I'm walking past they got auctions and everything like memorabilia. So I'm walking past the table and like looking at the prices that people are bidding on like a Devontae Smith autographed poster. It's like $250,000. I'm like, this is wild. Like, what am I doing here, man? It's so many places I've been to. Like, what am I doing here? Also, I want to shout out the Cascanas. That's a tequila. They actually showed me a great time. I flew out to Tequila, Mexico, to see how tequila is actually made and how they do it, how their products are totally different from a Patron or any other Don Julio or any other like commercial tequila. So I learned so much being down in Mexico tequila. And then also with the Eagles, man, working with Foco. I had I posted recently with my jumper on. That's the first thing you think when you think of Foco. Also, Die Hard. I've been working. That's my guy right there. So I got him on right now. It's just been like so many opportunities that happened over the past year. I can't even think of them all right now, honestly.
Yeah, and Jake from YouTube just said 250K is diabolical for a Smith auto. I actually have a Devontae Smith signed rookie card, and I think I got it for like $60, and nothing like that, just for a signed autograph. But it all goes to charity. And Dries, like, if there's one thing that I just like respect, it's just like you're a genuinely like good person. We linked up at the tailgate up here at the link, and I think within like 10 seconds you texted me back, said, "Where you at? What are you wearing? Let's link up." Man, I love seeing that. You're an ultimate networker. You grind really hard, and you've just been a great friend for the podcast. I remember when we started growing, we got over 1,000 followers. You were really pivotal in giving us free advice into saying, "Hey, here are the things on social media that can help you blow up and do what you need to do." One thing you talked to us before the show started, which I thought was really cool. You actually have a product that you endorsed or you helped found, or what is that in the stores? Talk to me a little bit about that partnership.
Man, shout out to Jake. He just left the comment right there. But me and my guy Jake, we actually did a barrel pick. You see our signatures right there. You see 2-3 drinks right there, and Jake.
The video's coming in a little bit pixelated, so make sure you can like walk through that bottle real quick.
I made out a 2-3.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Oh yeah, that's the autograph right there. But we actually have our name on the label because we did a barrel pick. So it's a store here in Florida called Abe. We can leave it in the photo. It's a store here called Abe's Liquor Store. Jake Fever, the guy that made the comment recently, he's a good friend of them, and he just like me. He likes to like connect everybody. Like everybody we feel like everybody has value in some type of way. So the store actually asked us to do a barrel pick for him. They gave us 3 different barrels. It was like we really want your opinion on it. Like we was like, okay, we didn't really think much of it. So we tried it. We was like, we think we like number 3. Number 3 is the best one. Okay, that happened probably back in March. August, he was like, we want you to come to the store real quick. We was like, okay, we came down to the store. And then we found out that the barrel we actually picked because we liked the taste and everything like that was this barrel, and our name was actually on the label. So like that was like the coolest thing ever. And a lot of people think when I posted, a lot of people think it's all over the United States, but it's a barrel pick. So whatever was in that barrel that we taste, it actually got bottled up. So it made about 200 bottles. So all it is 200 bottles of this Yellowstone whiskey right here. And it was just like a cool feeling to have this in store, something I was a part of where a lot of people can get
it. Putting you on the spot here, how do I get one on my shelf?
I can make sure you get one.
You make sure I get one. I will proudly display that. I will.
That's why you invited Dries. That's why you invited Dries to the podcast. You're just trying to weasel your way into some free liquor.
Yeah. Free advice and free liquor and free networking. And then we also got Leroy on the stream. I don't know why it's not showing, but I need one of them bottles too. Hey, this isn't a charity here. Start your own podcast. All right, invite him on, build a friendship, and then you can ask for.
Nah, we're like Oprah. We're Oprah around here. You get a bottle. You get a bottle. You get a bottle.
Yeah, that's my. Actually, you want to? So I did some collaborations with the guy Leroy. He's actually a great producer. He's a camera. Like he's great on the camera. I did a collaboration with Mitchell and Ness. And if you check out that video, how it came out so good is because he was the guy behind the camera. He was the editor. So shout out to my guy Leroy too, man.
Let's go, man. That's awesome.
That was another dream opportunity because I remember being a kid living in Philadelphia, going down to Mitchell Ness window shopping. I just went in there just to see all the cool things. I can't afford it, but
I'm still window shopping, Dries.
I would go in there and just like look at all the cool Eagle stuff, all the like wow, this jacket is nice, especially for the winter. But to be able to do a collaboration with them is like one of the coolest things ever. It's like full circle. So it was great.
Walking to Mitchell and Ness, you leave your paycheck's gone.
Yeah.
Well, hope it was worth it.
All right, Dries. Well, hey, listen. Let's talk a little bit of Eagles football. We're gonna get into one of our favorite segments: 2 up, 2 down. And Andrew, why don't you kick us off with the ups? Oh. The music should be playing. Oh, it's quiet. Hold on. We got a little bit of a technical glitch. All right, here we go.
Can you hear it, Alex?
Oh. Oh, it wasn't on there.
Alex and Andrews, 2 up, 2 down.
All right. Let's start with some ups. Last week we started with some downs because that is how we were feeling about life and ourselves and everything Eagles football. However, winning cures a lot. So my first up, man, I need to apologize to one of my downs from last week. So I came in pretty hot on the Georgia Bulldogs last week. I was really upset with Jalen Carter, with Jordan Davis, with Nolan Smith. You know, Nakobe Dean was really the only one that I, was finding acceptable. But man, after watching that Saints game, I think I was way too harsh on Jalen Carter. Mm-hmm. Even the game before, like even when the stats don't show it, that guy, no single offensive lineman can handle that man. He is such a disruptor. He is such a difference maker. So seeing him and Jordan Davis both have the impact that they did, which, I'm going to kind of extend this into a more overall defensive thing. It's like last week, man, if the Falcons, I know it's an if, but if the Falcons never scored that final touchdown of the game, the Falcons finished that game with 15 points. This week, we only give up 12 points to a team that just put up the 4th most points through 2 games in NFL history. You just held the Saints to 12 points in their own building. I am beyond impressed. We saw Josh Huff play a fraction of the snaps that he was playing the week before. You're seeing Zach Bond used as more of a pass rusher. And Quinyon Mitchell broke up a touchdown play. So I'm really impressed with this defense. As worried as I was the week before, they're good in the red zone. They I don't know, man. Like, they might give up some big plays, but they really, really impressed me. My second up is I'll save Saquon for you.
Yeah, well, let me go to that first point because we knew it was going to come, and my first up is going to be the defense 8. Now, this was a game that was more about heightened individual performances than actual team execution. So the individual players like the Jalen Carters, Reed Blankenships, Jordan Davises, the people on the defense really did show up. To further emphasize your stat, even today, the New Orleans Saints are still number 2 with most amount of points scored this year, but their total passing yards that we held them to, 130. Do you know how many rushing yards we held that entire explosive New Orleans Saints offense to without looking, Andrew? Eyes on me.
86.
Under 100.
89. So Dries wins if we're playing Price's Right rules.
I actually wanted to see how many carries Kamara had because they handed the ball. He had 26 carries, and to not have 100 yards on that is amazing.
Yeah, well, here we go. I mean, like from this perspective, though, if we can be what we were on Sunday from a defense, now talking about putting an offense and a defense together on the same week, that's a whole different conversation. But if we can do that 80% of the time and click as a team, and it's not just highlighted for a few individual performances, we're going to be unstoppable. Dries, what is your thoughts about the defense, the way that we held this explosive Saints offense? Tell us a little bit about it.
Man, I think we all walked in worried about the defense.
Yeah.
And we saw what the Saints done the first 2 weeks, and we saw what our defense did the first 2 weeks. So that was the big worry. So that probably was like the best thing that happened was seeing that defense play like that. The first drive where they converted 2 back-to-back long third downs, I would start out worried again. I'm like, oh man, here we go again. But then that third, I think it was the third down. That's when Jalen Carter got involved. He knocked down that pass. I'm like, all right, we off the field. And then after that, it's been lights out until like the last touchdown after the blocked field goal. So we gave him like great field position anyway. I meant the block punt. So I'm really satisfied with that. I hope we can keep it up, sustain it. Q was in the position, and he's actually knocking the ball down.
Yes.
A lot of time, Bradbury be in position, but he does nothing. He's just there for no reason. Yeah. So it was good. It was like refreshing to see someone in the vicinity of the ball and actually knocking it down to the ground. So I was.
He's a stud.
That.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's honestly wonderful insight, Dries. I think every single game he's had a pass breakup that could have been an interception on a fairly routine route, like a slant or an out route, like something that is not like down the field and it's like a pop-up. Like it's like, no, these are like pretty routine routes that he's breaking up. And I think he's going to be a massive problem in the NFL. And I can't wait to see his breakout game.
Same.
Jake commented, it said, technically, Bill Belichick exposed the Saints' offensive and gave Philly playbook on how to defend, and they still almost lost. But we won. So, just saying.
We won. We won despite our head coach trying to ruin it for us. We still I think Sirianni honestly plays defense on us. He's literally playing defense against the Eagles winning football games.
All right, Drew, what's your second up?
My second up, you got to give some props to a couple offensive performances here. So I guess we could rock, paper, scissors for either Dallas Goedert or Saquon here. But I'm going to go Dallas Goedert. What a concept. What a concept. You're down your number one wide receiver. Yep. And, let's start getting our big tight end involved. Like that wasn't on the radar last week. No, let's throw Britton Covey the ball 12 freaking times. So, dude, Dallas Goedert, like you made the point about Jaden Daniels, and like Jaden Daniels kind of, I feel like had like all of his offensive production, at least passing, in one game. It's exactly what Dallas Goedert did. He had 10 catches for 170. He didn't have a touchdown, but who the heck cares? He had a game-winning play, which, again, I have no idea how he had that much open field in front of him. But, this is what we were hoping for, especially with Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator, somebody who is good at getting the tight end involved. Goddard. Jake Fever, Goddard. I like how he spelled Goddard. He showed up. It it was a really impressive performance in a game where they needed somebody through the passing game to step up, especially after Devontae Smith got hurt. So Dallas Goedert showed up, and it was a heck of a game.
Dries, did you see the video of Jordan Mailata mic'd up running down after Dallas Goedert and what he was saying?
Oh, I actually didn't see that.
Oh, man, you have to look it up. I don't think we're going to be able to put it into this recording, but basically in his thick Australian accent, he's like, go, unhook the hitch. It is the funniest freaking thing. And then he's like, you're slow as hell. He's like, I promise I'm happy, because I think he realized that he was on. So if listening to this, just look it up on Twitter. The Philadelphia Eagles shared it. Jordan Mailata's reaction to it. What were your thoughts about Dallas Goedert and the offense, Dries?
What else? You want to speak about the whole offense or Dallas Goedert? That's
whatever you want. Whatever you want. You're our guest. You make the rules here.
If you want to talk about the offense, man, I was upset with the offense, honestly, because a lot of situations where we could have definitely put more points on the board, and a lot of situations are. I went to New Orleans before, and that's one of the loudest stadiums ever, and it was a lot of 2nd and 1s where we are in shotgun, and now we're getting a false start, and that plays to the crowd noise is so loud. We have Saquon Barkley get under center in that loud stadium and just give him the ball and get the first down. So that bothered me a lot. If we were home, that's a different story. Like I wouldn't mind if we were in a quiet stadium, but that's literally playing into what they want us to do. So that kind of made me upset during that time. And then also, we all know about not taking the points when it's such a close game. And again, you're in that loud environment playing. So
yeah. Well, I can get into.
If you want to talk about the offense, I got a little.
Well, here's an interesting stat. So, according to ESPN, it's not even according to ESPN, it's just a fact. The Philadelphia Eagles
sounds good.
Guess where the Eagles rank as far as total offensive yards so far this year? 1 through 10.
2.
We are in the top 10. Where do you think we rank?
2.
Andrew?
Totally. I mean, this feels like a trick question because I wouldn't expect us to be that good. I'll say number 4.
Yeah, we're number 2. So Dries obviously saw this and was doing some analytics before this. And that's we know exactly why we're 2, but we don't feel like we're 2. It's because of the turnovers. And again, this week, Jalen Hurts, I think that pick in the end zone was more of a confidence route that Smitty was going to be there and not looking for him, because before he even broke on his route, it was gone. And Smitty had to get in front of Tyrann Mathieu, and obviously that didn't work out. And then just the carelessness with the ball and everything on the fumble. So I'm kind of like giving it a 2 with an asterisk. It was 2, but I don't know if the 1 was really on him so much. I think Smitty kind of messed up the route. But that's a huge, huge problem. And again, but my first down that I want to get to is the coaching. And I forget who said it. I think it was Shannon Sharp or Emmanuel Ocho, but he said, this isn't Madden. And it really did feel like Madden at every time, because when I'm on the sticks, I ain't ever kicking field goals. It's either 7 or it's nothing. That's the only thing that I'm doing. The most bizarre coaching that I've ever seen is there's 14 seconds left in the half. We can go into the half with a tie or risk it on 4th down to get the first down, and then mostly go into the half likely with the tie again. I don't understand the logic on what Nick Sirianni was thinking there.
Don't forget getting the ball back after half too.
Yeah,
exactly.
We were 1 for 3 on 4th down efficiency, and it was a freaking joke. And Nick made a comment after about him doubting himself and wanting to double down. Well, he certainly doubled down, and he didn't doubt himself because he just kept on making these mistakes, and it was maddening. So although we didn't score points until the 4th quarter, we should have at least had the tie heading into the half, and we didn't do it. Andrew, talk to me about the coaching.
The first thing that pissed me off in the game was the fact that we won the toss and we deferred. And like, I understand that in today's NFL, a lot of teams are doing this. They're kicking the ball away instead of receiving. However, I think when you're going into a game against what was the number 1 offense in their building, you need to take the crowd out of the game. And
yes.
and you don't want to start the game playing catch up. You don't want to right away put yourself playing from behind. And guess what? When the Eagles start playing from behind, you know what they do? They say, "Oh, hey Saquon, it's nice to have you here, but we're not going to hand the ball off to you because we're just going to air it out every freaking play." So, I mean, I'm going to get into that. Like the fact that Saquon did not have a single carry in the first quarter is ludicrous. But the coaching, it's ridiculous. The cuteness is ridiculous. I totally agree about it. It's like it's Nick doubling down. It's like him trying to prove himself. And the worst thing about Sirianni is that like. God, this man, there's nobody worse in the history of anything in front of a microphone in a press conference. The pandering, the things that this guy says when he's asked a question, shut up. I don't care about your son's T-ball coach saying, so what, now what? You know, it's like my son's coach says, you know, it's like, so what, now what? I don't give a fuck about your coach. I don't care what your kids want to eat after a game, Five Guys or Taco Bell. I don't care, Nick. Like talk about like just enough, man. It's like the pandering is absurd. Like there's pandering like Bryce Harper where like we get it. You're rocking like, you know, the Fanatic bandana and the socks and all that stuff. Like and Nick, I like that he would rock Philly stuff and wearing shirts of his players. That stuff is cool. But just like the second he opens his mouth, everything becomes uncool. And that's like the last thing I have to say about coaching at this very moment.
Okay. I think you said a lot. Dries, what are your thoughts on the head coach?
Yeah, I agree with you, especially earlier when you talk about that fourth down before halftime. That was literally pointless to go for it on fourth down because even if you got the first down, we had one more timeout, use it, and then one shot in the end zone to kick a field goal. Like, that was, like, pointless. There was a lot of these situations that makes me upset. Not giving Saquon carries in the first quarter, that was, like, one of the biggest things that bothered me in this game. Like, this guy's it's a beast. Like, we all know that. The whole NFL know that. And like I was saying before, I feel like I'm like a recorder just saying the same thing over and over. But we're in one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. To quiet him down, like you can't hear these shotguns trying to do these passes. And to who? We got all these backups in the game.
Dries, it's a great point because, like, no lie, like that stadium is legitimately the loudest in the NFL. I know Seattle with the 12th man, they try to take credit, but the Superdome is the loudest stadium in the NFL.
Yeah. And then the second down that I have, moving on, because I think we could just go down a tangent into a whole episode on Nick Sirianni's coaching abilities, the injuries. And I don't know who's going to be playing football for us on Sunday. And somehow, despite all the injuries, the Eagles are still a 2-point favorite going into Tampa, which is really bizarre to me. So A.J. Brown did not participate. Lane Johnson did not participate. Devonta Smith has not participated in practice. Mekhi Becton and Landon Dickerson were both limited. And I guess some news, Darius Slay, who got bullied and got thrown into the bench on the sideline, was there. I'm really worried about the injuries. So coaching and injuries are my down. Andrew, pass it over to you. You can get into your downs unless you want to continue talking about the injuries. But I'm worried, man. I don't know who's playing football for us on Sunday.
Well, we did just get a question incoming from my man Garrett. Garrett's a real one. He's one of my coworkers. I love that guy. So he said, not only was the decision to go for it at the end of the half terrible, how about the play call being the fake tush push? Nothing better there if we have to go for it. Like that's the best you can come up with. I couldn't agree more. And it's like, if it works, I guess, yeah, cool. But like, even if it did work, to both of your points, you're probably just going to finish with putting 3 up on the board anyway. So was it really worth it? I don't think so. Okay, so downward, continuing our downs here. Yeah, like, are the Eagles ever going to score a point in the first quarter? Like, it's 0 points in 3 straight games in the first quarter. Like, come on. Like, it's what gives. And I know, like, it's not like they're not moving the ball. I mean, it's just, and like, you know, the turnovers that have happened obviously interfere with scoring some points. But I don't know, man. I feel like for such a long time, maybe this is going back 2 years ago. I don't know, just reliving the glory days. But it just felt like every time they got the ball to start the game, they would just like, they'd drive the ball down the field and they would instantly make the other team play from behind. we're not seeing that. And it's this game one step further. We didn't score a single point in the first half, and that's because we decided to do dumb stuff and not put points on the board, especially when getting the ball at halftime. It just doesn't make any sense. So the Eagles need to get off to a quicker start, plain and simple.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't know if you guys knew this about the turnovers. Jalen Hurts has the most turnovers since the beginning of last season, but has the best record. Which, imagine not turning the ball over, how better our record would be.
Yeah, great point. That's also I think yesterday was like the 7th game in a row that he's thrown in interceptions. So we need that streak to come to an end. That's too many. That's not a good streak. That's not the streak you want to have.
28. He's 27-8, but with the most turnovers. Take those away. Who knows?
I mean, but it is. It's like flashes of like Carson Wentz type of stuff. It's like I think Ali brought it up a couple weeks ago. Like the hero ball has to stop. Like we really don't need Jalen to be that. We don't. Like he can just be good at like. I think like the downfield throwing's gotten better. Like I think I don't know. He just like. The running looks good. He doesn't need to make some of these decisions, and it could just change the whole dynamic of the season if we stop with the turnovers.
I'm just so conflicted if I'm feeling like how I felt about Carson Wentz with Jalen Hurts, because I was so big on Carson Wentz before we ran him out of town. He had no-name receivers, making things happen, squeaking out a few close games, and I'm just like still in this mindset. I'm just like, if I could have any other quarterback in the league that's not Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, would I put another quarterback in the NFL in our system and think they'd be successful? And I can't convince myself that I'd still want anybody else but Jalen Hurts behind center, despite how angry he makes me. I don't know if you all feel differently about that, but I can't see it happening. I just think the whole entire offense doesn't work if Jalen's not in there.
I mean, I believe in the guy. Like, it's not like I've given up on him. It's just like there are maturity. There are things that we need to see at this point to. And again, like I don't think he needs to be elite. He doesn't need to be. He just has to be smart. And if he's smart, we're gonna be just fine.
What are your thoughts on him?
Like what Andrew was saying earlier with Nick Sirianni after the game press conferences, he's saying like all this pointless shit we don't want to hear. Hurts does the same thing. He say, I got to make better decisions. I got to make better decisions. I got to make better decisions. We know that. You say that every time and still throw an interception. So, like, you just telling us what you need to do is, like, do it then. You're just saying the same thing over and over.
Exactly.
You heard that already.
Yeah. All right. Going into the chat, the Bank25 says, I wish Nick would fully give up play calling. Yeah, I wish he'd just give up everything, and I don't even want him calling timeouts. He can't even do that right. So, yeah, whatever. And then Jake says, sounds like y'all are going to have a problem with the undefeated #1 defense Steelers on December 5th. I will see y'all there. He ain't wrong. There's a lot of really weird things happening. The Niners losing to the Rams. We're going to get into this right now. The Buccaneers losing 26-7 to Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, despite some other crazy things that happened this weekend.
Andy Dalton leading the Carolina Panthers to a big beating the Raiders, who just beat the Ravens. Like what? And who the heck had the Vikings at 3-0 on their bingo card? Like it's just nothing makes sense right now.
Yeah. The whole entire league is just different.
The Niners lost again.
Yeah, the Niners lost again. I mean, I do think that now, like, okay, preseason's over and now like things are gonna start like settling out, but. Hey, listen, at the end of the year, it may come down to 1 or 2 games you didn't win, especially division games. So, like, you need to get some preseason reps in and start the season off a little bit faster. I think we can all agree. Let's move into next week. I am furious that the Broncos beat up the Bucs because they're going to be pissed. Dries, you're down in Tampa. You're going to the game. What are you doing for the game? And give us your analysis and thoughts on what's going to happen. And if we have time, well, we will have time, but like hit us with the score prediction.
Wait, Dries, though, I need to interject here for a second. Is this game going to get played? Like, what's the weather situation?
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
Give us the forecast.
That's the media, man. The media hype y'all up like it's gonna be big and scary, but for us, it's not gonna be much. It's gonna be a regular rainy day in Philadelphia, honestly. And when they do show the news, they're gonna show like one little area that got flooded terribly, and people think it's the whole Florida, which is like I haven't seen any part of it, but like here in the Tampa area, it's gonna be basically a rainy day. So every game will be played on time on Sunday. The tickets will be cheaper because a lot of people are gonna be afraid to go. So that's kind of like it works out. And I'm actually thinking about taking my 3-year-old daughter to the Eagles game for the first time because she knows how to spell Eagles. One of the first words she knows.
Heck
how to spell.
yeah. I love that.
She'd be like, "Thanks, Dad. You're getting me rained on big time right now."
No, the rain will be gone by Sunday. Honestly, it won't even rain for the game.
You heard it here first. I hope you're right.
But yeah, like I was saying, she learned how to spell Eagles before her own names. So
that's awesome.
I think I'm gonna take her and show her an actual game. But my predictions for the game, I said this with a couple Bucks fans. I don't just like you said, Alex. I don't know who's playing. So once I find out who's playing, I can be more confident and have a more confident statement. I think AJ might, even though you say he didn't participate today, I think he might, honestly. Or they may wait for the bye. So it's like so much because the bye is also coming up too, which is like they want everybody to be healthy for the next stretch, or are they going to try to like get this win before that bye? So I'll be more confident probably like Friday when we get like no more. But as of right now, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, I remember when I was reading the schedule this year, I was really upset about fifth week bye. I was like, I don't like this at all, and I am waiting, praying for that week to come because we need some people that need to rest up and be out. The thing with hamstring injuries, they can linger, they can come back. You see it all the time. I don't know what's up with Devonta Smith. I'm not sure what's going on with Lane. Even though I do think was it Tyler Steen came in. I think that he did really well in his as his replacement. So I'm not too worried. But again, if we don't have Smitty and AJ, let's just say, is out, and Britton Covey broke his shoulder, we now know Jahan Dotson is not fully incorporated into the offense because of the lack of targets that he's having. We got Dallas Goedert, but they're just going to cover him. He's just going to be Travis Kelce next week and just get all double coverage. Who else is on our depth chart at wide receiver position? And we got Saquon that's going to be out there to be running out. But like, who else do we have out there? We calling up practice squad. We're going to call
Ross off the streets.
We're going to call Jalen Reagor back and say, hey, even though you got fired from the Patriots practice squad because you posted a picture of a Bugatti next to a trailer park, we'll come. You want to come play for us one time? City would revolt.
The fact that his name is even still coming up, it just boggles my mind. I thought I told you, Alex, I never want to hear his name again. Never, ever, ever, ever.
Yeah.
Remember Justin Jefferson went right after him? Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and then there's the footage of the Vikings just absolutely clowning us. Listen, I do feel like we're going to win this game because we have Jalen Hurts under center. I know that a lot of people are clowning on him. The turnovers are a problem. I totally get it, but listen, he showed up in a really pivotal moment back against the wall in a game that he needed to win, and he got it done. I'm not going to count him out. I'm probably not going to predict any more losses for the rest of the season as long as we have our guy under center. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be run on the ground, and I don't think it's going to be a sexy, flashy game with a lot of deep balls or anything like that. It seems like our offense is kind of heading away from that type of play call anyway, which I don't love. The NFL is now just a whole league of like 2 to 3 yard passes, and some of the old statues are still there throwing some deep bombs. The Bank 25 says this game against the Bucks, Dotson and Wilson, that's the other one I was thinking of, need to step up. Yeah, the Bank, I agree with you on that. I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to say 20-16 Philadelphia.
Did you see Wilson? Actually, Jalen Hurts threw him a dime on last week, like in the fourth quarter. He dropped it. Did you see that on the sideline?
Yeah, I did, and the analysis was he probably hasn't practiced with first team reps. I'm like, that's wonderful. You're an NFL, player. You need to catch that.
That actually was a great pass from Jalen, and I thought he got knocked down, but then they saw the replay, and like the defender didn't even touch the ball, just hit him right in the hands.
Altline plays this. So yeah, our friend Altline plays in the chat right here. Just said Kellen Moore needs to draw up more run plays for Saquon, and that's going to bring me into Alex. You were talking about the guy behind center needs to play well. I think the guy who's playing behind that guy is where everything needs to start. I'm going to read you some stats about the Bucks right now because they might be 2-1, but when it comes to where they rank in the league amongst pretty much every category, they're in like the bottom half if they're lucky. Most things they're like in the 20s. So we'll start with rushing yards allowed per game. Right now they're 25th in the league. They're allowing about 138 a game. So that's that's first and foremost. You need to just come out of the gate and just get Saquon his touches, get him involved. It's like we use the pass to set up the run instead of the run to set up the pass, which really is, I don't know if that's Nick trying to be innovative, but I don't understand it. It seems like a much better formula. Run the ball, run the ball. Oh, play action. Jalen's got time, and he finds someone. So the Bucks are not good against the run. They're also 24th in passing yards given up per game. They're let's see here. In total yards per game, they're 24th. The Eagles are second, like you said, Alex. Rushing yards per game, the Bucks are 27th. Rachaad White has not looked good. Wouldn't be surprised if the rookie Bucky Irving gets a little bit more work this week. And time of possession this year, the Eagles are third and the Bucks are 22nd. So like Baker had a really good first week, but that was against the Commanders. And we talked about like the Commanders are, I think, the worst secondary in the entire league. So sure, anybody can get it done against the Commanders. And, Baker had like 4 touchdowns. I think Chris Godwin, a very good receiver. Him and Mike Evans both have been great Buccaneers for quite a while now. I think Godwin's questionable at the moment, so we'll see if he suits up. So overall, it's like, again, like it's kind of reminiscent of this New Orleans game because I don't have good memories with the Eagles going to New Orleans. I don't have good memories. None of us have good memories with the Eagles going to Tampa. It's just things have not ended well there for us. But I look at this game. We're favored. The Eagles are currently a 2-point favorite at Tampa.
It's wild.
The over/under's 44, so kind of mediocre. We'll see what the weather looks like. I mean, that could definitely have an impact on how many points are scored in the game. But I'm gonna say that this is the week that Jalen does not have any turnovers. I think this is a good time to get right. If we can go into the bye 3-1, I think that really, really sets the tone for the rest of the season. So. Let's go Eagles 27, the Bucks 17.
All right. And then Garrett did comment during this, Dotson has to be involved heavily if Smitty and AJ aren't going to play. Formal first-round pick has to be utilized or the trade is pointless. Dude, I couldn't agree with you more, Garrett. Why the heck do we pick this guy up if you can't get him utilized into the offense 3 weeks into the season? And this is why we need a wide receiver 3 or 4 that's capable for this type of moment. So,
but this is also why he was maybe available.
Yeah,
Washington's maybe. He's not that good. You can have him. Which yeah. I hope that's not right. But
Drees, what do you think? And hit us with the score prediction too.
Yeah, I see. Andrew brought up the stats about the rush defense, and last year we played them twice. We played them early in the season, and they had the worst rush defense, and even in the playoffs they had one of the worst rush defense. The first game we had almost 200. Like Swift almost had like 200 rushing yards. The playoff game we didn't run the ball, so to me is like we know we can just run the ball and get the yards, but they got to do it. So if they do it, we can win. If they shy away from it and trying to get all fancy and do it a different way, we're gonna be in some trouble. But we run the ball, we're gonna win this game 24-15.
24-15, absolutely. All right, so that closes our predictions. Drees, thank you so much for joining us. Before we conclude today's episode, you're having a little bit of a reunion for one of the newest Philadelphia Eagles players. Tell us a little bit about this watch party, what's going down, and give us some of the details on this event that's upcoming.
Yes, sir. Saquon's going back to his home, and I'm going back to my old home. I'll be in Philadelphia when Saquon returns to New York to play against the Giants. Having a watch party at Attic Brewing. Make sure you guys pull up. We're going to have Delco Steaks there. We're going to have some great beer. That brewery, they brew some great beer. Some drink specials. We're going to have Cakes by Nay. She does some amazing cakes. She's going to have free samples. It's going to be free, so come eat up the cake. We're going to have got the Die Hard merch on right here, but he has plenty of Phillies. Phillies red October. He got Eagles. He got Flyers. He got everybody. So he's gonna be out there with the merch. Man, it's gonna be a great time. They have a beer garden where they got games. The great TV out there, great big screen out there to watch. We got a TV inside the bar too as well. So it's gonna be a good time for a watch party. Come out there and mingle with some Eagles fans and watch how Saquon put up 3 touchdowns against his beloved Giants.
Now there's a
Yeah.
prediction.
There's a prediction that will definitely come true. Love that, man. Is that going to be the home game or the away game when we play them?
It's a away game at MetLife.
That
Okay.
dump, that dump of the stadium.
Cool.
October 20th.
Okay.
Wait, you
wanna
trying
see
to go, Alex? You trying to go?
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I'm thinking. I just have to. October's a crazy month, and then I'm going to an away game this season, TBD. But we're thinking about that.
I mean, New
all right.
York is away. It's just like
Technically,
whatever.
I hate MetLife, man. God, I
it's
hate
not-
that stadium. It sucks. The traffic sucks.
Thank God you're bringing like
ambiance.
good cheesesteaks with you because Alex, I think you said that they like had the saddest looking like Philadelphia
God.
cheesesteaks
Yeah.
at one of their vendors.
Was it like famous New York cheesesteaks? I'm like, that's not a saying. That's not even a thing. E-Rock was disgusted when we talked about that. All right. So viewers that are on the live stream right now, you can help us with this, but we need to come up with an underdog pick for the week. Last week, Drew, who did we even have? We need to do better with uploading graphics. Guys, life is busy. We try our best. Sorry.
Yeah, that's on me. I wanted to pick the Eagles. I wanted to take the Eagles. We ended up taking the Cardinals, who lost. They were home underdogs to the Lions. Lions needed a win. They got one. So we're 1-2 on the year. So we got to get back to 500 now.
Yeah, I'm seeing Minnesota at Green Bay as an underdog. That's interesting.
Not touching it.
I don't know, man. Dallas is looking awful. They got obliterated by the Ravens. They did make it. You look at the score, you'd think it was a close game, but it really wasn't very close. The Giants are a 5.5 point underdog, which is a little bit interesting. Panthers, I don't see them doing anything. Broncos. Who else do we have here in the mix that we like?
Rams underdogs.
So
Got the
that's
big
another
beating
one.
49ers.
Wow.
That game doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, you said the Rams, right? Because they're
I'm about to bet $1,000 on that. Yeah,
they're
love
at
that.
Chicago. Like the fact that Chicago's favored it just does not make me. There's something
We
doesn't
have a
seem right there.
consensus. We have a consensus. The swinging it pick for the week is the LA Rams 2.5 point underdog to the Chicago
You guys
Bears.
are killing me. You're killing my wallet. That's what you're doing.
Hey, well, I'm gonna throw $1,000 on that game. That sounds like a pretty realistic one to win. I got to win it all back in one shot.
That's what Vegas is exactly waiting for.
Yeah, suckers like me.
That's what we at work call a responsible gaming concern. So you, my friend, would be flagged.
Andrew, we need to talk about that. I mean, I don't know like what you're allowed to say or not, but I would love just to like get an episode on of just like the most like ridiculous, outlandish requests that people are calling into gaming lines.
I'll give you one real quick before we get out of here. The amount of people that bet on esports, which is like literally you're betting on like
No
two
way.
random ass people like playing NBA 2K against each other. The amount of people that then want to flip out on the sports book for letting them bet on it, it's like there's zero accountability. So it's like people will message and they're like, "You guys rigged this. This is so rigged. It's so rigged." I'm just like, "Here's a simple solution.
You don't have
Don't
to
bet on
bet on
esports."
it.
It's not like we have like 3 employees that are like sitting in a side room like playing these games and fixing the outcomes. We have no control over that.
Oh my goodness, that's freaking hilarious.
Go find
dude.
something else to do with your time, you freaking Nimrod. Anyway.
Oh my goodness, that is so freaking funny. All right, Dries, we have a small tradition on the show. Our guests close it out, say the last remarks. It can be simple, it can be long, it can be heartfelt, it can be anything you want it to be. But this is episode 87. Thanks for
Selleck.
kicking it with us. Please feel free to send us home.
Man, thank y'all for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. It was always great to see you in person. Always great to talk to you right here. Let's talk Birds forever. Go Birds. Let's get this win.
Go Birds!
Let's go, Birds.